We're sitting there at 3-5, and that is not acceptable within this program, and are just really frustrated and disappointed. And I told our team that on yesterday. And you look at the game on Saturday, we had our chances, and just opportunities passed us by. Offensively, didn't play one of our best games. You look at the week before, we score a lot of points, and hoping it, not even that you expect to score that many points, but hoping you would match it, just get close on the road when you're playing a good Kansas State football team. And then defensively, we had a chance to put together a really good game and gave up some really big third down plays, and that just can't happen when you're on the road. You expect to play great defense, and then you allowed, you're sitting there 6-0, and then we give them a score right before half. It goes to 13, then it's 16, but we had to get off the field on third down and then it came down to just executing the game plan. We just didn't do a good job executing the game plan on all sides of the ball. And, very pleased with our special teams. We did a great job of just punting the ball and did a great job of covering with Lockett. But, we all three phases have to play well, and we didn't play well. But, we're sitting there with 5 losses, and that would never be the standard of this program. And I told our players I'm just disappointed and very frustrated about it.
Charlie, where was Malcolm Brown, the running back, in the second half, and why didn't he play more?
Well, we rotate 3 running backs, and then, you look at Deontay, we ran him twice there, and he got 19 yards, but then we turned into a throwing game, so, we didn't get the touches, and plus we didn't run the ball as much as we needed to.
In the middle, Dennis.
Coach, when you talked about, the frustration's obvious. What are the things that, when a team is at this level of frustration, what keeps them from mentally checking out, and do you think this team has that?
No, I don't think that we're going to check out, because you still have 4 games left to go play, and you have a chance to get to a bowl game, and that's what it's about now. Just go and just get to a bowl game and just go win the games. But and I always say to them, it's never what someone else does; it's what we do. And you sit there, you look at the film, and we just sat there on defense yesterday, and we went through the first series. I think they had a 12-play drive, and it's what we did. It's not what K-State did to us. But it's all about us, continue to coach, and now we'll just see how good of coach we are, because we can't allow the players to check out, because we still have games to play. And you want to see the seniors walk out here the right way, and through their career it hasn't been that great for them. And even before the season started, talked about just having double-digit wins for them, and that has never happened in their career.
In the middle, Brian.
Charlie, after the game, I know a lot of us were probably a little surprised that there was some confusion on Malcolm's status, and there was some confusion on what the Foreman fumble was supposed to be. My question is everybody on the same page? Is everybody either on the headsets or know what's going on?
I don't know what the confusion is. What's the question? Just what was the confusion? Like Malcolm, you rotated 3 running backs, so so you got into a game there. I think Deontay had 2 runs of 19 yards, and Jay Gray was the one who did there on the 4th down play. But the rotation was there, and so they just rotate. Coach Rob is on T-Rob's on the sideline, so he rotate them. And then on it's just an execution on the reverse plays. That what we're talking about, and it was just the execution on the reverse play. And one guy, and it was all about the ball. It's not a handoff, because you don't hand the ball off to, because wide receivers don't take hand. I may have said a handoff on Saturday. It was just the pitch that we always do. Anytime we come across in motion, even with when we run the reverse, quarterback catches and just pitches it, and it's just a pitch up in the air, and we just didn't execute it.
I think I was just more surprised that both you and Sean said we didn't know why Malcolm didn't play.
Well, it's just, when you come down to it, I don't it's up to each coach how they substitute their players. So it's a substitution with the coaches. But, and you know what, and when you're down, we're always looking for reasons why something didn't happen. We're down 23 and trying to fight back, and it turned into a throwing fest also.
On your left, Alex.
Coach, can you give us an update on Desmond Harrison? And also, can we get an update on Kent Perkins and on DJ Johnson?
Desmond will not play. Kent Perkins is still battling. He will be day-to-day with his knee. He came back and played some in the game, but he will be day-to-day. And DJ was back at practice. So we'll see we'll watch his progress during the week.
With Perkins, does it seem relatively minor?
And, you know what? We're going to get him out of practice and just see how he moves around. You know, he came back into the game on Saturday and tried to play some, just, you know, tighten up on him. And it was more of a, you know, he's standing there and he got rolled up. But the thing you like about him, he's able to come back into it.
On your right, Chip.
Charlie, people are not going to expect you to make a bowl this year with the schedule that's left. That's just their thought. But is it your thought that you know what you have at quarterback going into 2015 with Tyrone? Do you know he can be the guy, or do you need to open up the competition and possibly play Gerard in these last few games to know what you have?
Well, Chip, I look at it last week at this time, we always just praising Tyrone, talking about how great he played, and that's the thing at that position. And you look at, you know, I think about it, and it's all about consistency for him, just like with any other position. It's about consistency. But you also look at it, you know, there's a position that's always going to be given a praise when they play well, and then when they don't play bad, then everybody's going to say, should we do this? Or, you know, I always second guess. But, you know, the Tyrone is still young, he's still growing, he's still developing, and it's so hard to put a guy on a pedestal so quickly. So it's all about us just continue to watch him develop and grow, and he's going to get better and better. And you know, you look at Saturday, he did probably, you know, some of the throws he didn't make, but it was a combination not only of him, because everybody, you know, anytime something bad happens, they want to look at the quarterback position, but we had to play better all around, and we didn't do that.
On your left, Sean.
Coach, the conversation is always about swoops, but when we talk about this offense and who they are and what they can do, they did it against Iowa State, didn't do it against Kansas State. Kansas State's a good football team. Does it come down to, do you have enough? Is there enough there to get it done against a good football team like that? And do they almost have to be perfect to be successful against a team like that?
You know, anytime you go on the road, it's almost when you go on the road, you have to play your best because you're going to get the opponent's best because they're at home. But you think about it, and we're sitting there 6-0, we drive the ball and we get a holding call, and then we get sacked. So now, you know, we're out of that drive, and then we have a chance. We get the ball down there again, and we're talking about the reverse. It was wide open. I mean, if we execute that play, either he's going to score or he's going to get knocked out of bounds somewhere in the red zone area. And then you get the ball at 4th and 1, it's 16-0 at that time, and you're driving and it's 4th and 1, and if you go, you know, we're sitting there and say, okay, we're going to get a score here, so it's going to be 16-7 defensively. We got to go back out, stop them, get the ball back. But that's early in the third quarter. But you almost have, you got to play your best. I don't know if it can be perfect, but you have to play your best, because anytime you play against a good football team like Kansas State, a team that's not going to beat themselves, they're not going to do it. But it was there for us to get it done, and we had the opportunities, and we just didn't take advantage of them.
On your right, Anwar.
Hey, Coach, back to that reverse for a second. We had asked Ty a little bit about the details of that, and one of the things he told us after the game was he wasn't really quite sure what happens on the back end of that because, you know, he's focusing on different things. But as a coach, it's a little concerning for you that your quarterback saying he's not quite sure about the details of specific plays that are being called?
He wasn't for sure, but the details where he's talking about what happened to the play, it's not so much he didn't know what was the play. I mean, he knows the play. So it's not so much of that. He's concerned about what happened with the exchange, and that's what he's looking at, because what he does when he's pitching it, he wheels around and he's in the block. So only thing he's doing is targeting and if any defenders coming through. So he didn't see the front, what happened within the play.
On your right, Mike.
Charlie, just to be clear on the way procedurally how you do things, does each position coach, is it completely up to that position coach as to who plays during a game? Like, is it all on Tommy Robinson as to which running back is on the field?
Yes, what happens, guys, is each coach is responsible for his guys. So when you look at it, you know, the two backs have been Malcolm and they've been Jay Grace. So Deontay had a really good week of practice, and you know, we felt like, okay, give the kid some touches and give Deontay some touches and just see how he's going to do. So he ran the ball fairly well, and then, you know, at some point he's going to be an outstanding player here. And then with the receivers is how you rotate them. You know, if a guy gets tired, then you sub them and everything. But it's all about just getting guys in the rotation. But when you have enough players at those different positions that you can rotate, then I'd like to see it done. Now, offensive line, we can't do much about that because we're very limited at that position.
But you and John never tell Tommy, I want Jonathan instead of Malcolm here, or with any of the position coaches, you overrule the position?
No, I mean, I don't get in. I mean, that's why they coach. I mean, that's not my job. That's why I have them here. I mean, I'm not one of those guys going to tell them who to play and who not to play. Now, if a guy isn't ready, now I say that to him, but I'm not going to never walk in and say, no, don't do that.
On your right, Chip.
Charlie, is the plan to redshirt Desmond Harrison and the whole play calling thing with Wickline and Watson? Do you feel like that's a goofy distraction at this point, or I mean, are we playing semantics here over litigation, or how would you describe it?
You said it right. A goofy what?
Semantics.
That's what it is. But Desmond, we really haven't made a decision yet on him.
In the middle, Roger.
Charlie, heading into this game, it's about as big a contrast of two teams and what they're coming off of. I would assume Tech's not going to think they're going to shut you out, and you're not thinking you're going to put up 82. But can you talk about kind of the mindset of both teams after what happened Saturday?
Well, anytime, you're sitting there, and not that I'm at Texas Tech, but if I'm a coach and if I'm the coordinator, I just gave up 82 points, then you're trying to, figure out, hey, how can we, how did this happen, because you're looking at your players on defense, and they're really feeling down because they're giving up that many. And then you look at our game, and, we get shut out, which we, you expect we can go drive the ball and go get some points. But you have two teams that, coming off of a loss. But the thing about it, if I'm sitting there at Texas Tech, they're probably figuring, hey, we got this team coming in. They're coming off a loss, so we need to go play well because we're embarrassed. Both teams were embarrassed last week.
In the middle, Brian.
Charlie, I know you probably think it is a goofy topic, but are you not the least bit concerned that one of your assistants has a $500,000 lawsuit hanging over his head?
Well, you're always concerned because he guy's on our staff and he's a part of our staff. But when at the end of the day, Brian, that's why he has a lawyer, and that's why the case, we'll let that settle. And that's going to be settled the right way. So, yeah, I'm concerned just because he's on my staff and I know who he is and the type of person he is, and I know Joe, and I hired Joe from there. So I feel, I'm not, I can't say I feel pretty comfortable about it, but he's my guy. So.
On your left, Alex.
Coach, after the game, Coach Watson said that one of the things Tyrone Swoop struggled with the most was not blitz pressure, but it was twist pressure. As a defensive mind yourself, can you talk a little bit about the difference between blitz pressure and twist pressure and how it affects a quarterback?
Well, anytime you look at twist pressures, it comes from the 4 down. So when you look at it, they say a 3 technique, whether it be a 3 technique and an end. A 3 technique presses up the field, and then the end comes off of him. So it's more of a pick route because they're trying to figure out, who's single up and who's double up. So it usually comes from that position where it's a 3 technique, a press, and then the end, a loop underneath. And then on the other side, what they try to do is they get the nose to step and try to hold 2 guys. And then they'll take the end of the field 1 step or 3 steps and bring him underneath. So with the twist pressure, it's more of can the offensive line get set, get back, and get set where they can pick up all the movement. The blitz pressure he can really see because now at some point somebody's got to show the blitz. Twist pressure you don't have to show. Blitz pressure you'll show.
In the middle, John.
Coach, you talk about not letting the guys check out and seeing how good of coaches you guys are. Do you change things up this week, or do you stick to the routine?
John, I told him, I said, we're not going to change up. There's no need for us to change up. And what happens, we have 4 games left to go play, so we need to go play these 4 games. And it's all about the seniors. And I said to them, we got to get them to a bowl game. And you look at our schedule, and I know it's, you're sitting there with 2 ranked teams on it. We haven't beaten a ranked team. But the main thing, too, is that if we just come together as a football team and we don't hurt ourselves and we just execute, then who knows? And if we play the way we're capable of playing, then we'll see where we end up with these next 4.
On your right, Anwar.
Because as you're talking about that bowl game, if you've had an off season to work with guys, a training camp, and you're 8 games in, and there's still being struggles, how do you avoid it from just being it is what it is? How do you avoid that, and how do you just get these guys to turn the page where it's been a struggle for them to turn the page?
Well, but it is still, and it also comes back to us too. And we have struggles, yes, but we create our own struggles, and it isn't what someone else does. We create our own. If it's all about executing, with each game, I think about those 5 losses. We look out here at the BYU. We didn't play good at all. We didn't play good as a football team. Got just embarrassed. You play a first half on defense, second half we go out and you give up a lot of points. You have a young quarterback playing for the first time. He hasn't played, so that's a struggle. Then you go down to UCLA. You get to that game. You go into it. 4 minutes to go, you have a lead. Give up you give up a double move on the outside, touchdown. Give up a big punt return before that. So if you get down the field, you go cover the punt. Then you don't give up a double move. You have a chance to go win that game. You get into the Baylor game, and you're playing pretty good defense. Don't move the ball on offense, and so then you have your struggles. And those, you look at the BYU, you look at Baylor. They're at home. You expect to play very well at home. And that's the thing. We haven't done a great job of just defending our home field. And that's going to happen. And that's got to happen where you defend your home surface. You get in the Oklahoma game, you play very well on offense. You get that game down. You're down 18. You get it back. You fight back. You're back into that game, and then we get it. It's 3rd and 3, and we don't get to stop there on defense. Get the ball back for offense, and they're playing well. And then you come back and you go on the road to K-State. And anytime you go on the road, you have to play great defense. I always say that you have to play great defense on the road. And then you need to just get a score or 2 on offense. Just move the ball and just being able to just execute. It just comes down to just execution. And it happens. And we haven't executed. But you still have 4 games left to go play, and that's why you don't sit there and say, hey, it's the end. It's not the end. It's 4 games, so it's Texas Tech this week. So let's go get ready to go play.
You left Kirk.
You have a future as a play-by-play guy.
I know I do. You like it, don't you?
Yeah. Why do the false starts continue to be such a problem? And did you complain to the Big 12 office about any of the officiating?
And I can't complain. I mean, the officials, and you think back at that game, and you look at the play down the sideline with. We throw the fade in that one drive I'm talking about where we get the holding and the sack. We throw the fade down to Shipley, and when, it's the defender played the ball, so we didn't get that call there. And then, on the 4th down, I didn't really see that one, but, I thought maybe after we reviewed it, we would get that one, and then you're hoping you get a score there. But I don't complain about the officiating. We just got to play better. Don't put ourselves in that position.
In the false starts?
The false starts, it's, guys are jumping, not hearing the snap count, just not focusing and not locking in.
The middle, Matt.
Charlie, what did you see from your players yesterday when you got back with them? And I mean, were you looking for signs of discouragement and things like that?
Yeah, because you know what happened, and what's really good now is that it does burn some. And so when they got back yesterday with the meeting, and I just I talked about reason why we lost the game and just showed them why, and what I do is I do a script. I have a script where offensively this is what we could have did, defensively this is what we didn't do, and then in the kicking game this is what we did not do to go win the football game. And you talk to them, and they're kind of sitting there. Then I said, but the key thing is you got 4 games left to go play, and I asked them a question and said, you guys want to go to a bowl game? So and then whole team. I told the juniors, sophomore and freshmen, you guys put your hand out. I want to see how many seniors really want to go, because it's going to be up to these guys here, because they're the ones who really need to get this team going back. If they really want to get to a bowl game, then they'll get this team headed in the right direction.
On your left, Mike.
Charlie, is this as frustrated as you've been as a head coach in your career? Is it tougher than you thought it was going to be?
Well, it's not. It's tough, but we also it looks. I always look back at coaching, and we could have did a better job of coaching too. And you look at it, and I said it. And to go back to my play-by-play, the BYU game, I saw a team that wasn't ready to play, and I let it happen. And then that's what happens. You go and get embarrassed, and then you go back to look back at as a coach, and what's frustrating. You just look at the losses and say what you could have done differently, or how could have approached been to the game, or what if we've been in this situation, what we should have done. And you begin to second guess yourself, but it's just that's not the standard. And I still believe this, and I always will believe this. And I told our team this, that we are a better football team than a 3-5 record. We're a better football team than that. Now the record doesn't show it, but we're a better team.
The middle, Chris.
Charlie, when you're playing an in-state opponent like Texas Tech, how much do you bring up the fact that, this is the University of Texas, you try and say that you're trying to run this state? How much do you bring up that state pride and all of that?
Well, it's all about just pride in the university, Chris. I don't say much about, this. I think we know who we are, but at the end of the day, it's about us, and we got to go get it done, whomever we're playing now. And I don't really just, worry so much about anyone else. It's just more of our focus and how can I get this team ready to go play.
On your left, Ryan.
Charlie, early in the season, you told us that the coaches, not the players, were leading this team and that you were searching for leadership. 8 games in, is that still an issue?
Well, you have some guys that have stepped up. I look at us on defense. I think Diggs is doing a really good job. I look at Malcolm Brown, who's only a junior, who's doing a really good job. And then, you go to, I think Hicks is doing an unbelievable job. Even 33 is doing a great job. He don't say much, but just how he carries himself and how he plays. And then on the offensive side of the ball, you're so young, but little Malcolm's doing a good job. Even Jay Gray, the running back position, Ship, he doesn't say much just by the way he carries himself, but Harris is very vocal. So you have some guys, you just don't have enough, but you have some that are stepping up, but just not enough.
In the middle, Ed.
Coach, your impressions of the Texas Tech offense, and have you ever been to that garden spot called Lubbock?
No, I don't think I've ever been to Lubbock, but, I look at their offense and Webb, who knows if he's going to play or not, but we're going to approach it like he is. He's a really good passer. He does a great job of standing there throwing the football. I look at this game and I say, I watched that West Virginia game numerous times, and I think it's the team we're going to get, the team that showed up against West Virginia, which played an outstanding game. I think West Virginia had to hit a long field goal to beat them there at the end.
Middle, Roger.
Coach, if it is Mahomes, you got a young quarterback, you know how teams have gone after Tyrone. Do you go after a guy? Do you change at all how you play defense because it's a guy without much experience?
Roger, we're going to run our package. You look at that game against K-State, the first 30 plays, we blitzed 20 of them. So we're not gonna back away, but that's the way it is. And I love to bring pressure. I love to try to disrupt the rhythm, and that's when you get the teams. But then when we get to third down, that's when we got to go execute it and get off the field because we can get them to third down. Now it's more of us just getting off the football field.
Middle, Brian.
Charlie, I'm really curious about the psychology of how you talk to the team. Are you when you're telling them how this is not acceptable, things like that? Are you chewing their tail, or are you just like, hey, this is what it is, but this isn't going to work? Or, what's your tone to them?
All right, look at me, Brian. What do you think? You think I'm gonna say, hey, this is not no. No. They hear a lot. They hear more than like what they like to hear, but but they get it the right way. But they understand. But the thing that they get on Sunday, and sometimes I need to back away because, you watch the game, then you just get more frustrated after you watch the game. Then you had that 3 o'clock meeting. Someone always told me, you need to watch the film, back away, then go watch the film again, then you get a different reaction, you get a different feel. But I'd get that on Monday morning, but it's too late on Monday because I've already talked to them.
On your right, Ed.
Coach, you've said before, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, the easiest way to sell the program to recruits is to win. So when you're at 3 and 5, what's the challenge, now of bringing in recruits?
Well, a lot of times when you're sitting at 3 and 5, a lot of them think they can play for you right away. So you haven't won, but a lot of them thinking, hey, I can go there and play. But what sells here? It's the University of Texas. It's everything you need, both academically and athletically, and it's what it is. So it's not so much. They do see the record, but also they see the university, and that's the main selling point. We're at a great place.
Got time for 2 last ones. Start with Chip.
Charlie, can you give us an update on the progress of Gerard Hurd, obviously in this, what appears to be a redshirt season, and how's he progressing in a pro-style offense? If he had to play tomorrow, would you have to change things up to feature more of a option game?
Well, Gerard has been in the offense, Chip, and you won't have to change it up. He understands and he can go in and he can execute. You might probably have to cut it down like we did for Tyrone in the beginning and just give him the things that he does best. But he's progressing well, and the thing about him is when you decide to go play someone, we haven't been in that position yet. You look at every game for us, we're in a fight, so it's more, you just can't, hey, go in there and go take some. Because I may have said this earlier. I said, well, if we ever get in a blowout, I think someone asked me, you expect to get you a blowout? I mean, we haven't gotten this one, but it's you know what, he's going to be a unbelievable player. He just needs to continue to develop, and he's learning well. You know, you look at how Tyrone, I think last season, did he play late in the season? I think he did. And was it last game or so? You know, but it was late. I don't know when, but it was late in the season. But you just don't want. You know, what we want to do is just make sure if that happens, then he's going to be. You know, when he comes in, he's going to be the guy to take the snaps.
Last one on the left, Kirk.
Charlie, I was curious about the learning curve as a head coach. Can you relate to Cliff Kingsbury? It's just his second year. You know, do you feel like you're still learning, and what kind of grade would you give yourself so far?
Well, you're always learning, and you learn as a head coach. And you know, when you're not winning, then the grade's not very good for you. So that's, you know, but when you win, you think that grade is really high for you. But you always learn as a head coach. You got to learn your team, and you know, being here, it's you know, it's a different team for me because it's not so much that I look at it like this, and I always believe this, that when players start trusting you and they start knowing you care about them, then you'll be able to get anything done that you need to get done. But you know, but it's like anything else. When me personally, I don't think I've done a great job because we wouldn't be sitting here 3-5. If I'd done a great job, we'd be better than 3-5.